Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Anya and today's video is going to be a vlog of the week or the weekend that I'm currently in, which is baking weekend. Baking is something that I've done for Christmas with my grandparents since I was a child, and we bake two traditional Norwegian Christmas, I'm going to call them cookies, they're not the baked or fried goods, donuts, and something we call fattimann. I'm not sure if that has an English equivalent. I made the doughs for everything yesterday, so I will pop that in here. For the first dough, I am making the donut dough, and you need to crack your eggs. I am also using sugar, 400 grams, about 100 grams per egg. The recipe is in the description box, both in English and in Norwegian if you want to follow along. And then you just want to whisk that together. I started that with a hand whisk and realised fairly quickly that I don't have the arm strength for that, so we ended up borrowing an electric whisk from my grandparents, but you want to whisk it fluffy. Then you want to add your buttermilk and your sour cream. I had an accident with the sour cream and spilled about half of the tub all over the table. It was just out of frame though, so you didn't get to see that. Mix that in together, and then you are going to add in the dry ingredients, which for this one is flour, kardemomme, and ammonium bicarbonate. Realise that the bowl you're currently whisking in is too small and change to a bigger bowl to fit everything and just combine it. This dough is very loose and that's how I was taught to make it. I hold off about 50 grams of the flour for baking it out, which I will do tomorrow or in this video just a bit later. But you just want to whisk it together until it's smooth, no lumps and all of that. And then I sprinkle some flour on the top and leave that cold overnight. Now, the fattimann dough is completely different. So I'm starting with 12 egg yolks, whisking that with some sugar. You're going to do the same here, whisk it lighter and fluffier. It's not going to get as fluffy as if you're using the egg whites. Add in your cream, add in your cardamom, your lemon zest, add in your shot glass of cognac and your flour, and whisk to combine. This dough is the complete opposite. This one is thick, not nearly as sticky as the other one, and it's much heavier. So you can notice my whisk is having a little bit of issues here because it is very, very thick. But it's the same. I held off a little bit of the flour for baking it out later. You just want to whisk it until it's combined, and again, leave it overnight. Both of them are left overnight to cool. But today is Saturday. It's about noon right now. I have just done my makeup. I decided to be festive with some green and some red, and we are going to start baking, so I thought I would take you along. For the baking of the donuts, I always start with donuts. It's what just has become the tradition with my family. Start with donuts. It's the thing that takes the most, it's the one where it's the most dough. And this dough it's interesting. It feels extremely light and cold, almost like silk on your hands, but it's very, very sticky, as you can see, because it sticks to me and it sticks to the table, and I needed a lot of flour to just make this workable. And you just want to knead it together, add flour as you need it, until it becomes soft enough and not sticky, so that you can roll it out. And you just want to knead it together and work it until you can roll it out with the rolling pin without it sticking to the table. And then you roll it thin and stick as many donuts as you can out. And the donuts, when they have been poked out, are put on a tray and then taken outside. It's fairly cold in Norway when we're baking these, but just put them in a cold space for at least 30 or so minutes before frying them. It makes them easier to handle, and again, it's just how I was taught to do them. Now, frying these are potentially dangerous. We are frying them in lard, and as you can see, it bubbles quite a lot and it is very, very hot. Be extremely careful when frying them, but they only need a couple of minutes on each side. And then we flip them over, take them out, put them into these bowls, which has some paper towels at the bottom to drain any excess fat off. So the donuts are almost all ready. We've finished the baking, only the frying is left. This is my first taste of this year's baking. They really are spectacular. So it's late. The donuts took about 3 hours or so. There's 200 of them, give or take a few. We've just had lunch. I've grabbed the second dough, which is for the fattimann. Again, don't know what it's called in English. The direct translation is poor man. Now to bake this one. This is a bit more fiddly, but it's about a third of the volume of the donut dough. So I think it's gonna go quicker. Then for the fattimann, and this dough is completely different. It's much harder and much firmer to work with. I made a slight error here. So if you want to make these, don't take up as much dough as I did to start working with. You can, but divide it even smaller once you start rolling it out. This dough needs a lot less flour at the beginning, but it still needs some because it is a little bit deceptive. It doesn't seem like it's going to be sticky because it feels very hard and dense, but you're going to need some flour, otherwise it is going to stick to absolutely everything. And this dough is harder to work with because this shrinks so much, which you will see later. But again, knead it until it stops sticking to the table, and then you want to roll this out as thinly as you can. This dough will shrink back on itself so that they will end up thicker than you originally cut them. I started with too much dough here. It was a struggle, and the ones that we made, especially the earlier batch, which was from this part of the clip here, they were very, very thick, and that was an error on my part for rolling them out incorrectly, because as you can see, the dough will not stop shrinking, and it's annoying. It's the hardest dough to work with, but you want to roll it as thinly as you can, and then you're going to start scoring it. And I use a stick with a wheel to it, and the wheel has a jagged edge, and what you want to do is just cut lines, trying to make them straight and even in thickness, and that's the base. And then you're going to cut diagonal lines in those rows, columns, whatever they are, until you get parallelograms essentially, and then you're going to cut a small hole in the center of the parallelogram, and you're going to twist them. And for shaping the fattimann, I've zoomed you in here so you can see a bit better, but you just take them out, and then you open the hole a little bit wider, tuck the top corner in, through, and pull it through. And then you're going to end up with a shape that has a twist in the middle on both sides of the hole, but it's going to be pointy on either end, and that's the shape. Now again, these are also going to be laid out on a tray, put outside to chill before being fried. And something that is important with these, if you are going to make them, you need to stretch them. So I'm stretching them as I'm making them, because the dough will shrink enough for me to do that just from the time when I cut the dough out until I am tucking them. But they're going to shrink even more before they go into the fryer, and part of my error was not stretching them enough before they went into the fryer, so they ended up very, very thick, which they're still delicious. They're going to take a little bit longer to fry, but just stretch them out. On the tray you can see they shrink. This is sped up by 4, and the shrinking is absolutely noticeable in real time. Frying these, it's the same. We use the same lard, the same pot, and we use a different thing to flip them and take them out, because the wooden hook doesn't work with these because they don't have a big enough hole in the center. But you just want to fry them until they are lightly golden on both sides, and then you take them out and put them into the same giant bowls with paper towels lining the bottom. I look a little bit ridiculous with this little Christmas hat on because I had to tuck all my hair into it. Good morning, it is Sunday, so it's day 3 of baking. Didn't film a lot of talking yesterday because I had very limited space on my camera, but yesterday we did 3 hours of baking donuts and then about an hour and a half, 2 hours of baking fattimann. Today we are going to make gingerbread. We've bought pre-made dough. We've bought the one from IKEA. It's really, really nice. So we're going to be making that today. I am excited. Tiny little update on my makeup. So I ended up packing and making this palette for this weekend. So I wore the greens yesterday. Today I'm wearing the purples, and I'm wearing all of them. That's really nice. On my lips today is Velvet Jazz from Lisa Eldridge. Yesterday I used Velvet Ribbon, which is one of my favourite reds. But we are about to start making gingerbread. So this is the gingerbread dough. It's a kilo. It's from IKEA. I've had a nibble because of course I have. These are the little shapes they had. In IKEA they have this pack of like woodland creatures. It's a snail, it's a moose, a fox, squirrel, a hedgehog. I have no idea what this is supposed to be. I think it might be like a small bear, like a bear cub, or a similar animal to that. We have one in Norway. I've completely forgotten the name for it, both in Norwegian and in English, but it will be in the description. That's the one I think it is. But this was a set they had at IKEA. I thought it was cute. And then we have a collection of some more traditional shapes. There's a star, a tree, a pig, heart, angel, and then a man and a woman, or person wearing a dress and someone not wearing a dress. So these are the shapes, and like most of the internet world, both me and my sister have kind of fallen in love with Among Us. I don't play it much, but I love watching people play it. We've cut out little shapes of the Among Us characters, which is this little space guy. So my sister's going to be making a couple of them. I really like the ghost. I think it's cute. My dad and my sister are going to pick up some additional boxes because we've run out of storage for the things we've baked, and we forgot to bring our cookie boxes, so you know we kind of need them. But I have gotten the task of starting the gingerbread dough because I think I'm gonna have to work a little bit with it, maybe with a little bit of flour before we can start rolling it out. I personally, when it comes to gingerbread, like them to be a little bit thick. I don't like the ones that are super thin and crispy. They have a place and I don't mind them, but I prefer, at least when I'm making them with a dough myself, I like them to be a little bit thicker. So in the gingerbread world, where are you? Do you like them to be thicker or thinner? I kind of like most of my cookies to have a little bit of chew to them, not to be super crispy. And let's see how many gingerbread we can get out of a kilo of dough. I haven't baked gingerbread in at least 7 years. It used to be something that we did in our weekend baking when there were more of us, so when my cousins were in town, but it's been years since I last baked gingerbread. And I'm excited for it. I can't wait. I'm not sure how we're gonna decorate any of them. I definitely know that I want to keep some of mine plain. I'm also gonna poke little holes so that I can thread some thread, wow, through mine and put them on my miniature Christmas tree. I don't want to do too much to the dough because I don't think I need to do all that much to the dough. Just gonna move a candle out of the way over there. Let's see if it wants to roll without sticking to the table. That's my first round of shapes. This mousse took up a lot of space. Can you tell? I tried. It's hard. It's supposed to be a dead astronaut. I don't know what these are. Dead Among Us person. the first tray has come out. They are fairly thick. Soft. Cheers.
Like a cookie.
They're perfect. Look at the gingerbread. Look at the little dead one. And a little, this is a ghost. I think they turned out kind of well. So it's later, you can tell by the light. We are now going to try and assemble a gingerbread house. This is also from IKEA. I have never done this before, so this could be fun. thank you so much for joining me for the Christmas baking. We did not decorate the gingerbread house that I showed you at the end here. That is my dad's gingerbread. He's going to decorate it on his own, and I'm going to insert a picture of how it looks if he hasn't done it before this video goes out. I do have a gingerbread house of my own that I'm going to make and assemble. That's going to be a separate video. I will also probably in that video decorate some of the gingerbread we made, because I haven't done that either. But I hope you enjoyed this little baking vlog. Any of my other baking and Christmas baking related videos I have made in the past are going to be linked in the description box. There is a while though since the last one. I think it's 5 years ago since I did the last one, so it's a long time ago. But if you want to watch more of them, that will be in the description box below. If you missed the last Advent video in this little series, that will also be linked in the description box. Please let me know in the comments below what you or your family tend to bake for Christmas. And as I said earlier, the recipes that we used are in the description box if you want to try them. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you on Sunday for another one. Bye!